Hello everyone, I'm Deborah Alcock from Clickety Quick Business Solutions and Training, and I'd like to welcome you to this month's video focus recording, Access, Creating and Understanding Table Relationships. Here we'll explore one-to-one, one-to-many, and many-to-many relationships. So let's get started. As you can see down the left-hand side of the screen, we have 5 tables. We're going to use these tables and create relationships between them. Click Database Tools, click Relationships, and we have 5 tables here. The yellow key that you see beside field names represents the primary key for that particular table, which just means that every record that is in that table is unique based on that field. You'll see state code represented several times in these tables. 2 of our tables have what we refer to as a 2-field primary key. In other words, both of these fields taken together represent the primary key. So the state code along with city name will represent a single or unique record. The same is true in TBL production, where we have state code and crop name working together to make a primary key. We'll start with one-to-one relationships. So I'm holding down my left mouse button on the field called state code in TBL state, and I'm dragging it up until it hovers over top of state code in TBL capital, letting go, and the edit relationships window automatically opens up. It tells you what table you're working with, as well as that the field that you're working with within that table is state code in this case. And if I just go ahead and create this at this point, it recognizes that we have a one-to-one relationship. And we get a nice dark solid line representing that there's something happening between the state code here and state code up here. However, there's no indication that it's a one-to-many relationship or a one-to-one relationship for that matter. So I'm just going to double click, open up that Edit Relationships dialog again, and turn on Enforce Referential Integrity. Now what that does is it ensures that if you go to add a record to this particular table, TBL capital, there must be the same state code represented in the state table. So I'm just going to click OK. I'll repeat that. So I'm dragging state code over top of state code in TBL city. I'm going to enforce referential integrity, but this time it's a one-to-many relationship, and click Create. Now note the difference in the lines. Our original line didn't have any numbers or symbols at either end. Not until we selected Enforce Referential Integrity did we actually see the type of relationship we have. Here we have a one-to-many relationship. The many is represented by the infinity sign. If I continue on, dragging state code down to TBL production, and enforce referential integrity again, and do the same thing with crop name to crop name here. Again, one-to-many, and create. So we have a one-to-many relationship between TBL state and TBL production, and a many-to-one relationship between TBL production and TBL crop. When we take these 3 tables together, they represent a many-to-many relationship. So every many-to-many relationship must have an intermediary table that links the 2 sides. So in this case, our intermediary to table is TBL production, which represents the many side in both of these relationships. Now one more thing before I demonstrate what enforcing referential integrity means, I'd like to show you that there is another option that we didn't take a look at. So I'm just double clicking on one of my relationship lines, and you'll see that once you turn on Enforce Referential Integrity, you'll also see two other options. One is to cascade update related fields. The other is to cascade delete related records. Now typically I don't turn any one of these on unless I'm doing some kind of database management, sort of a one-off, if you will. But generally speaking, I leave these turned off. The reason being, or the most obvious reason, if I turn on cascade delete related records, and then I go into TBL state and delete the record for state, let's say Texas, all of the records that are related to the state code Texas and TBL state inside our production table will get deleted as well. Now you'll be prompted as to whether or not you really mean to do that. If you click yes, all of those records are gone. Now of course I'm hoping that you would be backing up your tables on a regular basis, so if you ever had to restore back you could. But it's just a really good idea not to turn these on, unless of course you're doing some kind of very specific database management, and then you might turn it on briefly and turn it back off again once you're done your management. One more thing before I leave the relationships window, you can also delete relationships in here. So if you decide that you need to change the structure of a table for whatever reason, perhaps adding a field, you can always come in here, right click on the actual relationship line and choose delete. You'll get a message asking you if you're sure you want to permanently delete the relationship. If you click yes, it will get rid of it. Then you can always go ahead and make your changes, come back in, and reestablish that relationship. There are three relationship types. You have one-to-one, where there is one record and table state directly related to a record and table capital. As there is only one capital for every state, it's very obvious, I hope, that that's a one-to-one relationship. TBL city can have many cities for a specific state, therefore it's a one-to-many relationship based on the state code. The state, however, has many crops, and crops having many states constitutes a many-to-many relationship, but that does mean you have to have an intermediary table. So I'm going to save this now. I'm just doing a right click on the relationship tab, clicking save, and then I'll close it. And I said that I would demonstrate referential integrity, so I'm going to open up Table City and add a record for which I know there is no state code in the TBL state table. So I'm going to type in OH for Ohio. I have no idea what the population is, nor did I for these others. But notice the error message that comes up. You cannot add or change a record because a related record is required in table TBL state. I'll click OK, come over to TBL state and open that up. I'll add a record at the bottom. Now I could have just as easily gotten rid of the record in my city table, but I know it is supposed to be there. So I'll type in Ohio here and leave all of that alone. If I go back into TBL City now and tab out of there, it will now accept that new record. I hope you enjoyed this month's video focus recording, Access, Creating and Understanding Table Relationships. Next month, we're taking a wee break, but we'll be back in January with a video focusing on Apple's Address Book. Clickety Quick offers online and desk-side support and software training. We also provide on-site classroom training. Some of the applications we support include Microsoft Office, WordPerfect Office, iWork, Adobe Acrobat Pro, and many others. If you'd like to book training or support, please email us at training@clicketyquick.com, or if you're in the Simcoe region, call us at 705-720-2888. And for our GTA clients, please feel free to call us at 416-888-1922. Have a fabulous day, and we'll see you back in January with our next video focus recording.